Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Bricks, once again back with another LEGO theme tier list video. Now, much like the last one, this is a theme that I've really loved, that I've grown up with, that I've enjoyed through and through over the years. But unlike Hidden Side, I have not collected every LEGO set from this theme. And I know in that one it was like, oh, it's just a few poly bags and magazine gifts, it's nothing big. Well, this one is a couple bigger things that I've never had in hand, or I've only had a handful of pieces relating to them. So my opinions are going to be a little more subjective on some of the sets in here because of that. But I would like to talk about this as much as I can, as best as I can, and I'm also going to dive in, no pun intended, to some of the other items that are not featured on this particular tier list. There are a few other small sets, there's some merchandise, a little bit of each that I actually have experience with firsthand. So, let's get right to it. Now, the Atlantis sets aren't in any specific order in this particular tier list. That is the one thing I noticed right out the gate, is that the first three sets are actually from one of the last waves of Atlantis. And therefore, kind of hard to talk about because I haven't talked about the sets that came out before them. But I'm going to jump into it anyways. So we have this anglerfish. I'm not going to remember the set names, by the way. We have this anglerfish set. It looks great. I have not actually owned the whole set. I own the Barracuda warrior that goes with it. I own the diver that comes with it, but I have never built the full anglerfish, and I would like to try it. It is a set that, aside from collecting this entire theme in 100% completion, I do want to see how this model is built. There's only been another anglerfish that I can think of before that point, which would be an Aqua Raiders. It was much smaller, so this one, much larger, also feels a little bit cooler, and leads me to think, hey, maybe there's more to it. I also do like some of the parts usages that's on here. I like some of the unique pieces that are on here, like the fin on the back is in dark green in a very unique way that is not done besides this set, really, anywhere else. So it is a set that I am curious to try out, but I have no experience with it personally. I cannot recommend it since I have not built it myself. But I would at least put it within the C rank, just for saying, like, yeah, I'm interested in that. Okay. Oh, boy. And this is what I mean. The fact that we already go into the last wave of Atlantis and one of the largest sets in Atlantis in total is just... it just feels unfair. Because everything else I talk about after that is going to be much smaller, or it's somewhat going to be bigger, or about the same size. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. This is a set I would love to get. Unfortunately, it is stupidly expensive. I have seen this for years and years, since like 2018 or so. I remember seeing this used in the aftermarket, and I still thought it was expensive. Even if it didn't have the figures, the divers, the submarine with it, any of that extraneous stuff. Just the building by itself looks phenomenal. I think it has a cool play feature to it. Although, again, I have not tried the play feature in the main part of the building. But I definitely like the look of it, and I think it would make as a nice play set. But again, I need to find it at a reasonable price. With this one, I guess technically you can say I have the Barracuda Warrior because it's the same one that's in the Angler Shark or the Anglerfish set before that. There is a problem that I have faced personally with my Barracuda figure, and that's the arms had actually broken off. It's sand green. I don't know if this being a common issue, and it's basically one of the few times I've ever seen that in any color, in any age of a LEGO minifigure arm, where it just completely falls apart. Like, out of the socket, still partly attached, but not enough to get the rest of the pieces out. So, it really sucks. And, if I was to get either of those Atlantis sets, I would probably be inclined to get another Barracuda Warrior. I mean, this theme does have a whole bunch of minifigures that are in the shape or resemblance of sea creatures. There is a bit of story to go with it, but I'm not going to touch upon that right now. I'm just going to go straight to the toy aspect. So, I would say it's cool to have multiples of any of those fish-like creatures, as it is. But I know that there is a big spread between them as to how you're going to get them and how expensive they can be. Like the lobster that's in this set, in the City of Atlantis set, is much more expensive because it's the only set you can get them in. So I don't know. With that being said, I definitely do want to get this set. I will put this a little bit above. I'll put it in C for now, just again because I don't have it. I don't know how easily I can obtain it. But it is something that's been on my wanted list for years and years, and I hope to get it someday. I think even individual parts would be hard to get for this one. Like the big seaweed pieces are exclusive in that color. But, yeah. I do have one thing for sure with this set, though, and that is the Golden Guardian, which is the quote-unquote treasure or prize of the set. I do have that minifigure on his own. I don't remember how much I got him for, but I still enjoy him as a minifigure, even outside of the rest of the set's context. So yeah. Next one in here, it's again a case that I have just the minifigure from the set, but this time it's not about one of the creatures, it's about one of the divers. In this set, they use Brains, a character that was previously shown from Power Miners, as part of the Atlantean crew, which is actually kind of awesome. It's in the same way that Solomon Blaze would go from Galaxy Squad into Ultra Agents. I like that continuity. I like that interconnectivity. But it's the kind of thing that, like, I don't know about the rest of the set. I think, yeah, Atlantis does have a lot of submarines. And it's not like this one is doing anything too much different from the other ones that I'm like, I gotta try it out. I've seen little bits over time from this set that I'm like, oh, I like these parts. Oh, I like these colors. Oh, this sticker has a mermaid on it. That's unique. That's kind of fun. But as a set by itself, I don't know. I'm a little less inclined for this one specifically. It's maybe eventually, but not the kind of thing that I would really have my eyes towards compared to the others so far. This tiny set. Okay, I will talk a little bit about the story. There is actually an animated movie, and there's a whole bunch of stuff from the LEGO website. I loved this theme when it was coming out because the website had all these little teasers. It had this little journal that every so often would update with pages, and it would give you little reports and like continuing the story that goes into the theme, and I loved it. And there's a little interactive flash game on there, so you can explore a little bit around Atlantis while still not knowing everything, because the sets will reveal more of it. But like, oh, so cool. So anyways, this crab set, you can easily skip over it for basically every aspect. The diver is included in other larger sets. The crab itself is just fine. It was like the first set I got for Atlantis, so of course I got my feet wet, no pun intended. But it really doesn't affect anything overall in the big picture of things. It is funny, though, that in the Atlantis animated movie, they have this thing at a gargantuan size. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. And, of course, they play around with some of the other sizes and proportions of these sets in the animated feature. However, this one gets the hugest of upgrades compared to anything else. Like, the other ones, they're kind of relative in size. Okay, the Neptune carrier is going to be much bigger in its, as like the hub. Like for Rock Raiders fans out there, it's like the LMS Explorer of Atlantis. It has the hosting of all of the divers and their equipment and their vehicles all in one big ship. But with that being said, this crab in that animated feature is larger or almost the same size as the already larger version of the Neptune carrier. That's just hilarious to me compared to what they are as actual sets. Honestly, this is the kind of thing that's like, okay, if you want to go in the collectible aspect of it, because Atlantis, like other Lego themes at the time, has a collectible aspect. They have, little treasure keys, as they were called, that you would collect from various sea creatures in various ways, that unlock certain features in other sets. And yeah, the other sets already have some of those things, but like there's also ones where you collect all of them or you unlock with all the keys assembled and things like that. Like in the same way as Monster Fighters with the Moonstones, or Pharaoh's Quest with all of the golden treasures and things like that. So this one technically has one of those treasure keys a little more uniquely from some of the other sets. There are some of them that just get used like all over the place. I'm going to pop over to Bricklink for just a second. I don't know if it's exclusive to this set or if it's in one other set beyond it. Ah, okay. So the only other set that it's in is the set that you would collect them all for. So you can literally skip this entire set and you get all of the main features still here. All of the critical details and things. Literally the same character, Lance Spears, is in there. So, like, it's charming as a little set, but not something you really have to sought after. Okay, this next one with the sub, I don't know. I know Atlantis has a lot of subs, and they try to make them unique. They try to change the shape of them. They try to give them something different to do. This one just doesn't do it for me. It's a little hard to tell from the picture here. I'm going to go back into Bricklink just to show you a little more of this thing. There's a little more of the set with brains. Okay, you got the little remote driller sub. That's kind of cool that it pops out from there. I don't know. I feel like something of this size could do a little more. The Hammerhead Shark is cool, but you can get him in other sets. So yeah, this is like the smallest one for the last wave of Atlantis. And while it's nice for, having the little arms in the front, you have it propelling, you have a little handle on it, it's still basic. It's still the kind that's like, you don't want to really have to prioritize over other Atlantis sets. Don't worry yourself about it. Especially this. We'll talk about that later. That's going to be fun. We'll put that over there. Shadow Snapper. That one, I definitely remember the name of the set. I love this thing. I still remember when I went to the Lego store for my birthday and I got this set because it was a store exclusive at the time, and I still enjoyed it after that. It has some really unique pieces that are exclusive to the set in certain colors. The submarine is not a lot to write home about, but still looks futuristic and cool in its own way. Just not the kind of thing that's like as formidable or functional as other submarines in other sets. But I still like the design behind it. I still like the pairing of everything here. And if I remember correctly, let's go back here. I also like, and this is not a thing that happens all the time through Atlantis, but it is cool when it does. The treasure key is a turtle. And this is a giant snapping turtle. That's cool. I like when it's associated with the animal, or the animal's associated with the key, however you want to phrase that. But like, this is a neat build. I like it a lot. This is just interesting design, just to stand out a bit. Again, does the bare minimum for functions compared to other submarines in Atlantis, but I still like it. I still like the look. Oh, this one I would love to get. The Sea Monster doesn't really give me a lot to write home about, or Sea Serpent, whatever. It's okay, in my opinion. But I do like the transforming vehicle. Yes, this is the one that infamously was going to be a Power Miner's vehicle, but then got substituted over in some ways to Atlantis. I would love to get that one. I would probably want to get that over the Anglerfish, honestly. And just a better look at it. Because it like transforms from a mech into a big rover. I don't know if it's really as functional as a rover when it's like this, though. Kind of makes me wonder about the back of it. Like, is there anything you can do back here? And they do show, like, yeah, you can still pull the arms out while it's in rover form. That's fine. But I still don't know what the rest of the hull is back here. I guess I could look up the instructions later. And, what I like in diving sets, and I am a huge fan of underwater Lego and diving themes. What I like in a submarine is cabin, is some kind of storage, you know, something beyond just operating the vehicle, usually, especially when it's at a bigger size like this. Okay, this shark set, it's not inherently bad. I do like the tiger shark from Atlantis, or from Aqua Raiders, a bit more than this one. The tail always bothers me with this one being so long compared to the rest of the shark. I guess they're playing with proportions here, but I don't know. Even when it's stationary, it kind of flops a bit too much for me. I do like it's posable, but I don't know. Again, another one that I wouldn't really recommend, but, you know, if you had it, it wasn't all bad. Still looks kind of nice. If you couldn't get the tiger shark, this is still formidable. It's got a whole bunch of articulating joints all over it. It's got, you know, for the most part, a nice form here. But it's the same form that the tiger shark attack from Aqua Raiders, not that long before this, had already established. Like, so I feel like in some ways this is kind of a downgrade. Alright. Seabed Scavenger. I know this one because I always missed the set when it was available in the stores. It's not like it was a hard to find set or anything like that, but it was the one that was like, I know this is out there, and yet somehow I still didn't pick up on it. I didn't collect it. But it's okay. I do like it as a vehicle as a rover vehicle. There's not many of those in Atlantis in total, but I haven't really been inclined to get into it. I think it's got some cool building techniques here and there, but beyond that, the arms don't really do much for me. The three-wheel design doesn't really do that much for me. It's like basically just this canopy area that I'm like, okay, maybe I could be interested in that, but it's not high on my priorities compared to other Atlantis sets. And Manta Warriors, you easily get plenty of them. That's a diatribe I'll go into in a bit. Neptune Carrier, definitely has to go up there. I might even argue Est, but I have gotten a used copy of it, so I don't know if it has all the pieces there, and therefore functioning as it should. It doesn't have the manta ray with it. These figures are on a whole bunch of sets, so it's not hard to get them back. But it's still a very impressive set. I mean, arguably, I should put this up here. And then this. I really want to move it up there. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Portal of Atlantis, it takes up a lot of space. I've had to reduce the size of it once or twice just to fit it within certain parameters. But yeah, it's a lovely piece. So cool. It is a bit of a facade, to be fair, but the middle part actually does have a couple of floors to it. Even though there's this really long staircase that leads up to the center of it, there are little rooms back here and here. There's like 3 levels of rooms back here. I don't know if there's going to be a good angle of it through Bricklink. The shocks are a bit awkward in it. These sharks are fine. It's a building technique that they tried differently. That's fine. I definitely like these figures with it. This one's exclusive to this set. The squid one is in another set. And it also has a cool play feature with it, where this turns. If you remember Elves, where they had like a portal, this is the exact same play feature as that one, just earlier. And it's wonderful. It does obviously have the 5 main keys. There's like, and I say main because there's like 1 or 2 others technically, but they're not really that big of a deal, or they don't make it a big of a deal. I think even one of the later sets. Not this one. I'm trying to remember which one it was. No. Maybe this. Yeah, it was in this one. They have another treasure key like that. They do function with it. But I don't remember there being like a story significance of it, necessarily. But yeah, if you could spring for that, I do recommend it. Even if you don't have any submarines to speak of, this is amazing to explore all over. This one's neat. I'll put it within a neat category. I like the way it's built. It's very unique in that function. It's very basic, but it still gives itself a good presence. Typhoon Turbo said, yeah, definitely have to put that up there. It can be a little unwieldy at times just because the wings, turbines, whatever you want to call it, are so spread out on it. But overall, it's solid. It's a solid build. I remember clicking that transformation function back and forth constantly, and I had no problems. It was not holding up on any gears. It wasn't, losing pieces or anything all over. This is there for a reason. This was like a flagship, iconic part of Atlantis for a reason. And it does it so well. It's so nice. And it's only one person, but hey, it does that. It handles it really well. This is one person, and it's like, yeah, okay, this is fair for a smaller vehicle. This is nice to transform. Again, it's got like, okay, it could be a mech, but it can also, the sides fold up, and you can make it propel, like it's, more submersible. It's okay. The shield is cool. The hammerhead obviously is cool. I would put it ahead of some of the other ones, especially down here, but yeah, I'll just leave it there with that. I love the sub. Oh, if the Neptune carrier wasn't enough, this is so good. This is a sub that, even though it says it transforms, it literally just opens up. It's just to let you inside of it and put you on a stand. But it's a good interior. It's a proper interior. The Neptune carrier, as I said before, is supposed to be the main hub, the one where everything comes from, where they convene, where they investigate, all that stuff. There was no interior on the actual toy model to properly play through. You have enough room for one character on top, one character on the bottom, and a vehicle on the bottom, and a couple of accessories. Which is fine. But to get a real sub feel, I guess, this is your man. This is your go-to. This is so good. I am very happy to have this one. It's one of my favorites for sure. It looks like a good submarine when it's all closed up. It looks really nice when it's opened up to see all these little, all these little compartments, have this little operation going on here. It works. I don't know how in its own world it works, because it's like, hey, wouldn't this thing be flooded? I don't know. There's probably some other science to it. Whatever. Use your imagination. I'm not here for that, for explaining that. But this is such a cool design. I love the portholes. This takes full advantage of what the aesthetic of the theme goes for, in my opinion. This is a really good submarine from Atlantis. I love it so much. It has to be an S rank. Gateway of the Squid. Now that's a very cool playset. And that's about it. Yes, it does still have that treasure function that I mentioned before. Oh, you twist this thing and it opens up the gate. That's cool. As long as, the elastic bands are in good shape, that'll actually operate with that. It does have a little trap door in here. It's got a little treasure underneath. It got the big monster on top, as well as this one on the side. Kind of works as like a prison cell kind of thing. It's like kind of decent playset, because it has all those functions, but it is a straightforward thing, There's not much on the sides to do. There's no other real compartments or anything. Like, they show in the instructions that the trapdoor is, like, to hide the treasure, or, like, to dupe the divers. They're like, oh, there's a treasure, and then psych, and then they fall into the trapdoor. I know there's, like, the obvious, oh, they're swimming. Can't they just swim around this gate? Alright, let's put a little imagination cap on there. Let's say that they can't. Well, because this is, like, more guarded up. But, yeah, I really like if it could do a little more than that. I'm sorry, you're yawning. But I still like it as a set. I still enjoy playing around with it. And as far as the tier list goes, Deep Sea Striker, this giant scorpion, is the last one in there. I can't give a lot of high recommendation on this either. I do like the orange, relating back to the crab in the crustacean kind of way. I do think it looks unique as a model, even though it's the kind of thing, again, basically borrowed from Aqua Raiders, just jazzed up a little more. But it doesn't ultimately... You could go with the rest of the Atlantis sets without this and feel nothing. Like, it does have a cool function here and there. This can be a bit top-heavy. The legs don't really move back and forth, so the posability is mostly within the claws. But, it looks okay. I'd put it there. That would be my ranking based on the main sets. And I say the main sets because we have a few more in polybag or small box form that we'll get to right after. And I know there's something a little improper about, like, oh, well, shouldn't there be 3 in here? Shouldn't this be less? I don't know. I don't do tier lists too often to care. So, if we go back to Bricklink, there's a few of these we did not cover yet. They weren't on that tier list, but I'm going to cover them now. So the first thing to start off with is the 4x1 Super Pack. I don't think there's really a reason to collect it unless you really want to collect everything Atlantis. And I don't. I mean, I do want to collect all of these things, and there's 2 of these sets I own, and 2 of them that I don't own, so it would be advantageous to get it, but I I could get them separately just fine. I don't need it as a huge pack like this, though it would be fun to see the box in person. This is the kind of weird stuff I would love to go to the Lego tour in Denmark and go in their vault and try to find. It's like, do you just have the sets on their own? Do you have the combo pack with them? You know, and things like that. Do you have the big one with all the Chima sets? You know? That kind of stuff. Aside from, like, the nostalgia of, you know, personal favorite sets. But, like... Yeah, no, I'm not gonna throw down for that. Especially out of country in this current climate. And no box listing on its own, so yeah, no. It sounds neat. It was probably a neat thing for the time, but it's not the kind of thing, in retrospect, you really need to worry yourself about. Okay, mini sub polybag. I like the building techniques with this one over even some of the standard sets with their mini subs. I like this uniquely being used for a big flashlight. I don't actually remember if I own this one. I feel like I do. I don't remember. But it does look really neat. Doesn't look hard to build, you know, from standard parts. I don't remember anything unique on it, just by looking around at it. Lance Spears is all over the place. I don't really have a concern with him as a character. He is, like, very common from the characters in this series to get in any other set. So, yeah, it's more about the vehicle. I would recommend it. I think it's a cool looking vehicle. I think it's a cool smaller submarine scooter thingy. This one's kind of a unique build, but if it's, yeah, it's saying it's a piranha, and I guess I see that with, like, the bigger lower jaw and such. It gives me the same vibe as the sharks from the Portal of Atlantis. They tried something different to get a, you know, different building technique, but it doesn't always look great compared to other ones. Again, this would be, like, bottom of the list, last one of the things that I would get. I know for sure I don't have that one. This one, I think, was one of the first Lego hauls I ever did on YouTube. Contained this guy. I got him from Five Below back in the day. And true, it's not really that unique. I mean, I think it's unique because it's the only one that's labeled as an octopus in the entire theme. It pairs up nicely with the Gateway of the Squid, you know, characters or the creatures. It doesn't really make sense having the shark key with it, but it's there. It's fine. And for octopus builds, yeah, I do like the pre-established octopus that Lego's used over the years. But for this theme, this one fits better. This one has more of the appearance, and surprisingly, doesn't have any markings on it. Like, this one at least incorporates it a bit with the colors, even if it doesn't have a printed or stickered piece to it. This one's just all black. I don't know, I find that interesting. Also, it's very spinnable. You literally, like, because this is just a basic pin axle kind of connection in the middle here. So, one way you can look at it, you spin the eyes around, or you hold it by the eyes, and then you twist it on the top, and all of this will spin around. I don't know. I like it. I think it's nice. Again, small peanuts for the theme overall. Not as essential, but it does help flesh things out a bit more. The mini Neptune carrier. This is kind of in the league of, like, mini Star Wars vehicles. It's fun to get a smaller version of it, but it's not really essential to the rest of the other sets. I like that they made a miniature version, but I can't see myself using this unless I just pretended that it was like a rover version. I don't know. I guess it'd be kind of like in the, where was it? In this set, where there's like a smaller version. Clearly a smaller version of the big thing here. I guess you could interpret it that way if you wanted to. But it's more, I see it more as like a desk icon. It's like, okay, I like the Atlantis sets. I like the Neptune carrier because of its profile and such. This is a small version to put on my desk as a decoration. If I can't fit the whole thing in a certain space. Okay. From there, we move on to perhaps the worst set in the entire line. I say worst, but it's only the worst at the time. And I did actually buy this. I did buy this at Toys R Us or whatever. In box. When it was released. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe it's because I didn't get another set with a Mantis or with a Manta Warrior in it up to that point, and it just gave me one to use. The build is very basic, although I do like that there was a rock build and having the spine seaweed piece is still cool. But there's nothing else to do here. Inside of the set by itself, it is virtually useless. You could get the same exact quality or value from any other sets that this character appears in. And even some that, like it's right here. It's right here. The rock by itself you could build on your own. I don't know what I was thinking. But, not a thing I would recommend. It's probably less expensive to buy the minifigure on its own, with or without Trident, than to try to buy the whole set. I'm not even kidding. And then we go to the Sea Jet. This is as compact as it gets for a sub from Atlantis. And I kind of respect that. But it also doesn't do anything unique. It's like cool for the form factor, and that's about it. But there are plenty of other sets that do the same literal thing, even down to the robot arm. See example here, here. Okay, that doesn't quite have it there, but it does still hold accessories. Here's a better example. Has 2 arms, I think there's a thing that holds onto them here, if I remember correctly. Even on the rover of this vehicle. Like, here, in there. So many other sets that accomplish the same thing, but as much as I diss those sets, they were like $3.49 back in their day. That's how I remember it, because LEGO used to have that as a price point. They used to have that for a lot of different themes. From like castle to city to Atlantis. There were literally these small cube-like boxes that were essentially polybags for $3.49. That was always the price. And on a budget, that's cool. I like that. I respect that. Especially when nowadays, you're lucky to get polybags for a theme. Or accessible for a theme. So, yeah, I remember Pirates had that as well. I love the Pirates ones because you can integrate those with the other sets very well. Not that you can't integrate this well with other sets. It's just kind of basic. It's like it doesn't offer anything that you can't build on your own, really. And like I said, the Mantis Warrior. The Manta Warrior is in a couple places. I didn't even get to think about this, but I did love getting this book, building this sub. This was a fun build. This feels like some of those smaller sets packed into one bigger package. And then some. It doesn't show you a lot from the cover, but, you know, you do have multiple builds in here for the creatures, for the submarine itself. You get another, you know, get the Manta Warrior with it. You get the treasure chest, you know. I think this one's this one I would recommend. It's up there, like, at least by an A, maybe higher B, because it's, like, a formidable vehicle, a functional vehicle, and you get, you know, a little bit of everything with it. That's another thing I like with diving sets, is that it's not just about the submarines. Yes, it can be very tailored to them, but I do like when they have environmental pieces in a LEGO theme, whether it's meant to explore an area. It's like, how am I supposed to explore something if it's not physically tangible? So, you know, lean into that a bit. And that's why I ranked some of the other sets in this theme so highly on there. Because they're places to explore. I think it catches us up with most of the things in here. Okay, so Atlantis Treasure is a board game. I guess you can say it's kind of related to the Atlantis theme. It came out around the same time as the theme. The thing is, it really doesn't involve the theme, even though it does share the name. But I do like the golden minifigure that's with it in the center. It's like a miniature version of the one that's in the City of Atlantis set. So, I'd be inclined to get that figure, but not necessarily have to get the whole board game. Or rather, I would get the whole board game for the purpose of getting that piece. Whichever is easier. Whichever is less expensive, I guess. Although, I will say this. If I redesign the board game here, this might be a nice, like, little playscape. Like a little atmosphere to put some of those submarines and sea creatures and warrior figures, just scattering them around. That's not a bad idea. Like, you know, ditch these submarines or repurpose them for something else. Maybe move the crystals somewhere else. All of these compasses, you know, take those out of the equation. And, you know, I do like the patches of seaweed that are all through here, just to give it some, you know, environmental feel that we were just talking about. Okay, we're on to merchandise. They're not going to have any sort of ranking either, but I do still want to harp on them because it's something that I pick up from time to time. Atlantis poster. Not much to write home about. They did have this 3D element for a couple of things, especially through merchandise, through the LEGO catalogs, through the LEGO Club magazines. This poster is an example. I think this background attracts me more than this one. Funny enough. There's less going on here, but it feels more mysterious. And I've even seen that with, like, desktop backgrounds that were available back in the day that were for Atlantis, you know, having this deep ocean feel to it. I like that. This one just fills it all in. This, I would love to get this. Those treasure map things that I was talking about before, those discs or whatever that were in different sets, collect them all, blah, blah, blah. This is what they open up to. In the animated movie, they're meant to open up in a triangular form to this thing. And yeah, I know, in the middle of it, it's, again, very promotional looking. But having a physical representation like that is awesome. I don't even know where it was available. Because I got the LEGO magazine back then. I got these 3D glasses. But I did not get this, this triangular, like, prism. This pyramid thing. This poster was originally distributed along with a pair of Atlantis 3D glasses. These glasses are also provided with the poster without the clear plastic bag and with number 458, blah, blah, blah. And none for sale. Currently. I'll be on the lookout. I don't know what the other side of it looks like since there's only one photo here. But if I did collect this, I would probably keep it in the enclosed version. It's like the Millennium Puzzle in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not pivotal to the card game. It's not important to playing the basic game that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is surrounded by. But it's a cool prop for the mysticism of the theme. You know what I mean? I never thought I would bring Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the equation, but here we are. Okay, brick-built minifig? Yeah, that would be awesome to have, but I know that's very lowly likely. He's missing a hand. And I guess this would have been a plastic visor, not made in LEGO. Seems like the kind of thing that would exist. Barracuda keychain? I mean, if he's more solid than the Barracuda figure that I have, maybe. I used to be a big LEGO keychain collector, and there's only a handful at this point I would still be interested in collecting, but not as much as I would before. And even for themes like this that I love, I can't see myself really getting this far into it. Or at least, again, it will be after going through a bunch of other things to collect first. Other sets, other figures, other merchandise, you name it. Atlantis poster. Reveal the secret. I don't know if I own this poster. It's a little on the generic side as far as the product images being shown through here. I don't know what the back of it looks like, if anything. I would pass. And that's regardless of what size it is. I would go for other posters beyond that. Again, brick-built Shark Warrior would be awesome to have, lowly likely to be available. Atlantis display. This has the small vehicle there, which actually does line up in canon with the animation. That they use this to go through the portal. And the Portal of Atlantis itself. I don't collect LEGO displays that often. And even for a theme like this that I love, again, lowly likely to go for that. To hunt out for it. Especially when I already own the sets. And it doesn't make sense of owning the sets and these glued fabrications when it's like I can already display the sets and I can move them and I can play with them, you know, and things like that. Again, I see a low chance that I would be able to get this because, again, this feels like a store display that would be eventually destroyed or very hard to find in the wild. But if I saw it available, I might be inclined to try to get it. I think it looks cool as a big cardboard standee. It's not even that big. It's not even that tall. 19 inches. It's barely 2 feet. It's like 1.5 feet, actually. It's more accurate. It feels like it's bigger than it actually is. But yeah, no. This one makes me wonder, though. Is it 3D? Or are they both 3D? 7 by 11 by 9. They have a volume, so maybe they are. Honestly, I think they got a bit cooler than I thought it would. But if I understand correctly, this is within the league of 19-inch or so Lego figures that are very hard to come by. Yeah. Yeah, like those. Exactly like those. And no, thank you. Like, yeah, I would love to have a Johnny Thunder like that, but I already have the minifig. I have a dozen of the minifig. And all different costumes and such. That's still very suitable. So yeah. I knew the 19 inches was familiar to me. A display cloth. I'm not one to collect the display cloths from Lego, and I've only seen them in person once or twice here or there. It would be cool to have one for Atlantis. There's a couple that they show in here. I think I like the Portal one much better. Like, the spacing between the characters looks better. You know, having this one in the spotlight is better. Having them, you know, a non-submarine looks great. Again, lowly likely to get these. Even one of just the logo, that looks fine. The HQ in the bottom, okay. Shark Warrior, Squid Warrior. I'm not partial to any one of these more than others. 3D glasses already have, because, again, Lego Club Magazine. Lanyard. I don't exactly know what I do with an Atlantis lanyard, other than maybe, like, bring it to conventions or something. And there's other lanyards like that, with other themes. It would basically serve the same purpose of, like, I'd wear it sometimes. It's not critical, but it is, like, it spices things up. Watch my tabs explode. And then one for Nuremberg prison. I'm not really swayed either way between these. They're almost exactly the same to me. Magnet set. I can't see myself using Lego magnets in any of these, like, sets. Even for a theme like Atlantis that I like. I mean, this one would be really cool to get, don't get me wrong. But you can't take the figure apart from it. Glued with 2x4 brick bases. So that means these figures are meant to stay on there. Atlantis notebook. I might have this notebook. I definitely have an Atlantis notebook kind of like that. I don't remember about this part of it. But I might. Atlantis postcard. Again, really good photo here. You don't see a lot of the Portal Emperor. But I do like this postcard. Now, with it already being scanned and a paper product, I could just print a copy of it to have for, you know, whatever. I'm not going to reproduce it and sell it as if it's a real copy. But, you know, if I want this as a tangible physical item for personal usage, I technically can do that. Atlantis ruler, not critical, but would be fun to add in with other stuff. I might have this. I might have had two of these at one point, unless I'm thinking of a different shield. But if I don't have one, I'd like to have one. If I already have one, good on me. But I don't don't think I do. Oh my goodness. I have tried for so long searching for this thing. And I have seen once or twice people owning it, but not selling it. So that's been a hard one for me to obtain. I would love to own this as merchandise. I don't think the sword's really critical to anything, but it does have a nice look to it. It almost gives me like a Soul Calibur vibe, honestly. Like this is a soul blade. I don't know. That's fun. I like it. I gotta skip past a couple things here because that's Atlantis with Aquaman. Video DVD. Yep, that's the DVD we're talking about, which I do have in this form, or some square form like this. Watch set. I mean, I do own a watch set for Power Miners, so yeah, guess it wouldn't be beyond me to get one for Atlantis eventually. Oh, another weapon. A trident. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I wouldn't have searched for that one sooner. And last but not least, this one I do own. I bought this years ago, sealed. I don't remember how much I paid for it. I do remember getting it through eBay though. It's alright. As a water gun, compared to other water guns that LEGO and Busby Toys have released, this one's just alright. It's doing something different, I'll give it that. It's cool having a little pouch like that, but you really need a secure place to put that. You know, so it doesn't fall apart when you're walking around with it. For an adult playing with it, it's really not that useful because that's not a long enough hose between your waist and your arm. You're very easily gonna like pull one or the other out of their place. For a kid, this works fine. I do like it as a concept. It's like, okay, you don't have to like pump it up or anything. You just have this giant trigger that, that squeezes the water out of it. So yeah, it works. It works fine. I think I still had the packaging with it too. It was a blister pack. So it's the kind of thing that's like, okay, yeah, I took it out of the cardboard. And it still has this little plastic shell on it. But I still tried to keep them together as best as I could. I did a video between that and a few other water guns with LEGO and Busby many years ago. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's a very pulsing kind of water gun to give you perspective. Like, you're not going to be pressing this once and getting a steady stream until it runs out. You press it, you fire. You press it again, it fires again. Kind of thing. So yeah, I think that covers most, if not everything, Atlantis. I got a billion tabs open now that I'm going to quickly scroll through in my own time. Probably not going to find much currently on Bricklink. I might be able to find some through eBay here or there, but I don't expect much at the moment. And going back to the tier list, I do want to complete the Atlantis theme. I do like these sets. I do like this theme as a whole. But you can tell there are some sets that I'm more inclined to get than others, that I would better recommend over others. So I'll just keep that in mind, I guess. Like, there are a lot of good playsets. There are some good submersibles. I like that all the characters have individual names. First and last names, by the way. Bobby Bowie, Ace Speedman, Lance Spears, Samantha Rhodes. I'm trying to remember if there's another one. Axel something. Definitely an Axel. Not spelled like the Rock Raiders Axel, if I remember correctly. Oh, it doesn't have a last name. What? You for real? Oh my gosh. I really thought he had a last name. Oh yeah. Forgot he was in a few other themes. That is so strange. Oh, Jeff Fisher. That's another one. Which set? Which set is he in? Well, that's Brains. I can excuse that one because he was from Power Miners. There we go, Jeff Fisher. Yeah. What? Why does Axel not have a last name? He's the only one? What? Axel Storms. Okay. They do give him a last name, and Bricklink just doesn't have it on record. And I couldn't remember it offhand. Also, there is a book or two. I don't know if the story carries from the animated series into that. I don't usually look through the books too often unless it was the Brickmaster one that we saw earlier. Okay. Yeah, I think that wraps it up. I would love to do an Atlantis collect spree, but I got priorities and other things right now. I'll keep it in the back of my head, though. As always. And thank you for watching.